Welcome to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm Nichole Eaton, author of the books Rock Your Soul and Rock Your Comeback, as well as an intuitive therapist, and I'm here to remind you of your power. This podcast focuses on mindset and inviting the universe in to create a life that feels so good, so aligned, and so authentic. I hope you're ready. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I'm your host, Nichole Eaton, author of the book Rock Your Comeback and Rock Your Soul, an intuitive therapist, and I'm here to remind you of your power. If you've been following along, if you have caught the last few episodes I've done, they have been basically the outline of my book. So if you're like, curious, I want to know what you're about, make sure to listen to them. But here's the thing is they were all leading up to this very podcast. You're at the grand finale of the introduction, okay? Today we're going to talk about manifestation. The reason that I save it for last is because I think it's really important to talk about your black hole moment first. I think it's important to talk about purpose in the darkness. And I think it's important to talk about the power of your thoughts and the stories you tell yourself and the undoing of things that you have otherwise come to have be normal for yourself. I also think it's really powerful to talk about energy and the universe and intuition. And manifestation is all of those things combined, okay? It is my favorite. It's my favorite to teach. It's my favorite to talk about. It is what I credit to changing my life. All of those things combine together to create manifestation. And if you're new here and you don't know shit about manifestation, I'm going to give you a 101 crash course right here, right now, and we're going to talk about it. Manifestation is the idea, and the law of attraction is the idea that your thoughts become things. Your thoughts are physical manifestations. And part of that is because your thoughts have a frequency or an energy to them, and they go out into the world and they collect experiences, situations, people, and opportunities that match the frequency they're at. So some people believe thoughts become things, and I do. I'm one of those people, but I also believe that it's not just your thoughts, because your thoughts are programmable and whatever, but it's also who you be, your being, your person. Who are you during the day? What kind of mood are you in throughout the day? And I think that all matters too. So if you're like, man, I have had a lot of negative thoughts lately, Nichole, I'm struggling with my thinking and my energy just feels crappy. I got you. I've got you throughout this podcast. I've got you throughout my content if you follow me on social media, but it's okay. The good news is it's okay because I was there too. And I teach it now because I was there too. And I don't ever want anybody else to be there. I don't want anybody else to be where I was. I was in a very dark hole. I was in a very broke place. I was in a very sad place and I didn't love anything about my life. And that's not a good place to be. And it's not a good feeling. So manifestation has really began to make me feel powerful. Sure, I could control my thoughts, but I never really felt a ton better to just think about controlling my thoughts. And sure, I could lighten my energy, but then what? What do I do there? So I like to think about manifestation as a 10-story building. And each thought as a frequency. And how you can tell what frequency you're in, the idea of like high vibe, how you can tell what frequency you're in is that it feels good or bad. That's it. Your frequency is really not than your mood, which is really cool because then we can identify and tune back into ourselves and say, okay, where am I at today? Well, kind of moody today. I'm just feeling kind of low or sad, or I'm a little fearful or anxious today, or maybe you're in a great mood. And how this corresponds to the building is that if we can think about like law of attraction, thoughts become things. It's sort of like tuning into a frequency. Okay. You can only really tune into one frequency at a time and really get the full picture, right? You can only really land on one floor in the elevator at a time unless you're stuck in the middle, and then you can't really access anything, right? So if we think of our thoughts and story building, we think of our energy and our frequency and our mood as a 10-story building, then what we can expect is that as we go up the building, the thoughts, the feelings, the experiences, the people, the opportunities get better. So if we start, let's say we start in the basement, we're fearful, we're anxious, we're having a lot of worry thoughts, we're looking for things to be concerned about. Our brain is on search in a survival mode to make sure we're okay. And it's like scanning and searching and catastrophizing and making it all scary and bad and weird. When we're in the basement energy, when we're in fearful, anxious, depressed energy, we are most likely to see basement things. We are most likely to see the trash and the rats and just stuff that's broken that nobody really wanted. Okay. So again, if you're there, don't worry. I've got you. We're still going to like get up the elevator. But as you think about what's at the penthouse, what's at the top level of this elevator, it's expansion. Usually penthouses are huge. They have a great view. There's crystal, maybe a butler. color. It's a good feeling. It's a taken care of feeling, and it's an expansive feeling. And if we think of that as a mood, and we think of our thoughts producing energy and our thoughts producing a feeling in us, then we know that we can come back to a place of empowerment via our thoughts. Okay. So check in your elevator. What floor are you on? What mood are you in? Where are you at? And again, if you're in a low space, totally cool. Don't worry about it. We're going to get up. Part of the idea of manifestation is that you have to begin to get clear on what you want. You have to decide on what you want. You have to know. And even if you're not sure, you can probably at least look around and recognize the contrast, the things that have shown up that you don't want. And we can be grateful for those, because thank goodness it showed me what I don't want so I can get clear on what I do want. And so when we're in a place where we are very aware of what we don't want, that helps us gain clarity on what might feel better. This is like taking an elevator from the basement to the first floor. Clarity is a superpower. Clarity will get you way further than having a fuzzy idea and just staring at the face of all the things you don't want. What is it that you do want? Because I believe that the universe and that our thoughts, they don't understand the negative. So what you want to do is you want to look at the positive. So it's not that, I don't want to be in debt anymore. It's that I am open and willing to believe that I can gain wealth. I can grow my abundance. So we're looking at the positive, not the negative. So clarity. Now, the next part is interesting and fun. We have to forget how that's going to come to you. When I first was starting manifestation, I was reading called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. It's a very, 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 very basic text on law of attraction. I think it skips a lot, but it was a good starter point for me. So I went with it. And so The Secret by Rhonda Byrne basically said, expect checks in the mail. And as a very broke person at the time, I was like, okay, that's really cute and nice and fun. And like, who's going to actually give me checks? Nobody's coming to bring me money. I am floundering. I can't keep the lights on. I was in a rough place, but I had a curiosity about it because I read a bunch of stories and I worked for other people. So maybe, I don't know, I was almost in a desperate place, willing to be open to the possibility of anything. And curiosity will get you very far in this practice. Curiosity, being willing to be curious about what else is possible. And 3 weeks later, I ended up getting a check in the mail that changed my life. This check in the mail wasn't a substantial amount, but it was for me at the time. I mean, it meant I could keep my lights on. It meant I could pay for daycare that week. It was like $500 or $600. And it was from an audit done on a retail place that I had worked when I was like 17 or 18 years old, and they owed me money. And I got a check in the mail. It was like 6 or 7 years later that this audit was done, and I got a check in the mail for it. And this light bulb went off in me, and I was like, what was that? I was literally just setting my intention for checks, and now 2-3 weeks later, I'm seeing checks. This shouldn't have happened. Like something in me sparked of like, shit, maybe this is real. And again, I don't teach manifestation in the way a lot of people do. A lot of people teach it as like get rich quick scheme. That's for me. I'm not going to teach you that. I'm going to teach you, well, I do like to show you how to live a powerful existence and travel and do all the things you love and be surrounded by the support. But money specifically is not my MO. My MO is how I walk through life. If I have a shit ton of money and I feel like crap all the time, that does nothing for me. That does not light me up. That does not make me feel good. That does nothing. Cool to money. There's plenty of people who have money and miserable. I want to feel fucking amazing. I want to feel confident. I want to love myself. I want to love my kids. I want to have a great relationship. I want to feel fulfilled and content in my life. Those are the things that I manifest. So we're going to get clear and we're going to suspend disbelief and open up to curiosity and possibility. And this leads to the next thing. If I would have been like, how am I going to get $600 more in the mail? I would have never figured it out. Never in a million years, because I didn't know they owed me money. Would have never thought it. So we have to begin to be willing to trust the universe. Our last episode, right? I want you to trust the universe to figure out the how for you, to show you a way. Show me a way is a big affirmation for me. And we're going to allow the universe to show you what's possible. We're going to allow the universe to show you. And as your brain goes into the mode where it tries to figure out how this could happen, I want you to say, I'm handing this over. I'm trusting that it will come in the way it's meant to, this or something better. This is a really fun way. And like the last step, if we're just going to do a brief overview of Manifestation 101, we're going to set our intention. We're going to get clear. We're going to release the how and trust the universe. And the last thing is we're going to put ourselves in a state of receiving. Your receiving what you desire is like, it's like frequency on a radio station, right? You can tune into one station at a time. If you're tuned into a station that sucks, if you are manifesting and setting your intentions, and then the whole rest of the day you're bitching about things and looking for things to be mad about and looking for indiscretions in the world and problems with everything and injustices, like you're going to find them and you're going to be in the basement vibration. So your job is to recognize where you're doing that and try to find an appreciation or a state of love or a state of neutrality even. Putting yourself into a space where your day is filled with things that bring you joy, whether that's a cute little cup that you put your coffee in, whether that's dancing in the kitchen before work, whether that's opening the windows on a day it feels really nice. Any little thing that brings you joy moves you up that elevator to a better experience, to your manifestations, to the things you desire. So you have a lot of power in the moments in your day. And I want you to just observe, where is your energy going? What does that look like? Because you are a co-creator of the universe. There is evidence that we share 98% with same atoms as stars. So this is exciting because we are co-creators of the universe. We are practically stardust to claim that power by deciding what our thoughts and allowing the energy to match up. And again, energy is just saying good mood, bad mood. That's it. That's easy. So we just have to be willing to monitor what's going on in our bodies, what's going on in our hearts, what's going on in our souls, keep our energy clear, and keep ourselves open to be on the same frequency of what we desire. This is a really important thing. And again, you don't have to go from the basement to the penthouse. You can go up a floor. You can be willing to believe something new. You can be willing to believe something exciting. You can be willing to be open to an experience that feels really good, that feels better than what you're doing. You can be willing to appreciate what's possible for you. So I want you to sit down tonight and think about different areas of your life and think about the power of the brain and telling stories and the energy around it. And I want you to decide that it gets to be good for you and it gets to be exciting and it gets to be powerful and you get to be powerful and you get to feel powerful and you are. The rest of this podcast is going to be all of these ideas together as we talk about black hole moments and we talk about undoing stories you tell yourself and self-sabotage and self-abandonment. And we talk about the power of intuition and how to use your intuition and manifesting. And of course, manifesting and the power of like believing in yourself and believing in the universe to support you and the power of knowing how powerful you are. So I hope you subscribe and I hope this was helpful. And I'll be having a lot of things coming up, especially a membership program I'm going to be creating this summer also called the Comeback Club. This is actually the first time I'm talking about it. So if you're listening, if you're a regular subscriber, yeah, there's opportunities for us to play and for you to be kind of involved in a vortex of good vibes and good energies that I really believe will change your life. So this is your sign to level up. This is your sign to believe in your power as a co-creator of the universe. And this is your sign to subscribe and share this podcast because I really will be putting out a ton of content in the near future of stories of comebacks that are so inspirational and inspiring, tools for your comeback, ways that you can make your comeback and just support along the way. I love you guys. I appreciate everything that you've done and all the ways you showed up for me. And yeah, go manifest your dream life. Make sure to keep an eye out for my latest book, Rock Your Comeback, The Down-to-Earth Guide to Reclaiming Your Power, out this summer. I'd love to connect with you. Make sure to follow me on Instagram or TikTok at NicholeEaton.xo. Thanks for listening to the Rock Your Comeback podcast. I hope you're feeling inspired, motivated, and ready to take on the world. Now go step back into your power. The world's been waiting for you. But first, if you could, leave me a review or share with a friend. Thank you.